like I'm live. Give y'all a minute to get up in the building. Do me a favor, everybody. When y'all come in, hit the like or the dislike button so that people can get the notification. Because we know YouTube does not like to give my notifications out, and we know that YouTube is shadow banning your boy. We know YouTube already said that my channel was too controversial to monetize, and I'm not asking for any money. Nope, I'm not. I'm just saying. YouTube has taken down dozens of videos of mine over the last year. Has taken away multiple live streams because they say that, I went against community guidelines and all that type of shit with the medical misinformation. We know that I have been going hard in the paint in regards to this Modelo 19 pandemic nonsense that has been sprung on us. We know that. Those of y'all have been riding with me for the last few years, so we know what it is. YouTube does not like my channel, and that's what it's gonna be. But I wanted to talk about this real quick because I find it very interesting, this whole Caitlin Clark discussion. There's a lot of facets surrounding the Caitlin Clark situation. One in particular that caught my attention. All right, coming out the gate with some nonsense. Oh, okay. Yeah, come on over. I hate when these motherfucking trucks just, if you don't stay your ass in the left lane, goddammit. Anyway, it is what it is, y'all. Please hit the like button when you come up in here. There's a lot of shit surrounding this Caitlin Clark thing, and one thing in particular caught my attention about it. Okay. And I had to look into it a little bit further. I'm not really into basketball like that, let alone women's basketball. But I did want to talk about something in particular. And you can see it in the title of the live stream. And it's basically me asking is, oh my God, bro. Is Caitlin Clark experiencing racism in the WNBA? And I had that question because I think it's very interesting that the type of people pushing this narrative, and I wanted to know what racism is now. Like, what is racism? Because it seems like the term changes based on what people want to feel that day. Like many other things out there in the internet nowadays, many things out there in social media, people like to pick and choose what means what, and they like to use words loosely. No one cares about language anymore. Everybody just throws words around. And so I wanted to talk about what that was, right? What is this racism that Caitlin Clark is experiencing in the WNBA? I want to know what it is, because like I said, people like to choose what words mean when they feel like it. No one actually cares about definitions. No one cares about what words actually mean anymore. The English language is just a lot of shit in regards to the English language and how words are used is very arbitrary. And so I wanted to talk about that, right? Racism. Well, what does racism mean, right? What does racism mean? Does it mean the belief that one's own race is superior to another race? Does it have to involve power? Does it have to involve, you know, abuse? What? I mean, what? At what point can we use the term racism in regards to what's happening to somebody? Do you have to? So if you want to say somebody's racist, do you have to prove intent? What do you have to do? What has to be done for you to be racist? What does one have to experience racism? And in this regard with Caitlin Clark, right? A lot of people are using that word racism. You know, Caitlin Clark is experiencing racism because the black WNBA players don't like her, or, you know, when they play against her in games, they're playing extra hard, or they're fouling her and all this other type of shit. And I find it very interesting because it's like, oh, we'll acknowledge racism when it comes to people like Caitlin Clark because a bunch of black people are treating Caitlin Clark a certain type of way. And I just wonder, how do you know that these people don't like Caitlin Clark because she's white? How do you know that these black WNBA players are playing hard against Caitlin Clark because she's white? Right? How do you know that Caitlin Clark being pulled over to, you know, all this attention Caitlin Clark is getting, all the attention that she's bringing to the WNBA, how do we know that the WNBA players that have been playing in the WNBA for years hate Caitlin Clark because she's white? How do we know that? Well, we don't know that. What we do know is that a lot of these players who feel like they busted their ass to get in the WNBA and to help bring attention to the WNBA, they feel slighted because look at what it took for this level of attention to come. When is Caitlin Clark the best WNBA player that's ever played the sport? Is she the best right now? And what about Angel Reese? Is Angel Reese just as good? Has Angel Reese gotten as much attention as Caitlin Clark before she came over into the WNBA? Because let's understand, these players, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, both gained notoriety before the last season of their college, before their last year of college baseball was done. You know, as a matter of fact, I would venture to say Angel Reese got more notoriety than Caitlin Clark, right? She is everywhere. Like, she is going viral for many different reasons. Angel Reese has brought many male eyes to the sport of the WNBA because of her personality, because of how well she plays, because she's beautiful, you know, all these different things. And so I didn't even hear about Caitlin Clark until a few months ago, right? So I mean, and I'm not into the WNBA, but I knew about Angel Reese over a year ago. I knew about her, and you know, she was all over the algorithm. She was all over the timeline of Facebook, all over the timeline of YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was more talked about, and more people talked about her than Caitlin Clark, and that's just the bottom line to it. But when they both enter into the WNBA that same year, they only give Caitlin Clark the credit for bringing eyes to the sport. But see, we know that this is how powerful media is, right? This is how powerful mainstream media is. The mainstream media is so powerful that even against what you see yourself, you see Angel Reese out there a lot more than you see Caitlin Clark. But the media was able to manipulate the whole situation into having people believe that Caitlin Clark is responsible, and responsible alone, for bringing eyes to the sport of the WNBA. She's a great hope. Oh, and because of this, because she's such a competitive player, and she comes to the WNBA, and when she goes up against certain teams, certain players want to prove that she ain't that tight, she ain't that bad. So in many people's eyes, right, the only reason Caitlin Clark gets so hard, the only reason that so many people are outspoken against her in the WNBA is because she's white. Now, I would say that maybe it has to do with mainstream media pushing her so hard because she's white, that people don't like her, that people want to prove that you're not that bad. Maybe it's the mainstream media propaganda, and maybe it's the mainstream media glossing over Angel Reese, the importance of Angel Reese, and the impact Angel Reese has had on women's basketball in general. They want to minimize that and put Caitlin on this pedestal. Maybe that's why so many WNBA players are trying to prove something. Why can't it just be the competitive spirit of the women of the WNBA trying to prove that, hey, we've been balling before Caitlin Clark got here. We've been balling before Angel Reese got here. And let's talk about Angel Reese, right? Caitlin Clark is experiencing racism, but what do you see mainstream media talking about in regards to Angel Reese? Oh, she's ghetto, she's this, she's that. Remember that whole controversy with the whole hand gesture? I don't even remember that hard. But the white player did the same hand gesture. No one said anything about that. When Angel Reese did it, she was ghetto and all that type of shit. But Caitlin Clark is experiencing racism? Like, where are we? What type of world are we living in here? All right, who's in the building? Canterbury, what? Can't Guard J was good. Conspiracy Ranch was good. She's the female Steph Curry. Okay. They hate her because she's white, straight, and doesn't look like a troll. Okay. They hate her because she's white, straight, and doesn't look like a troll. Okay, well, that's your opinion, and I won't say anything. To me, that sounds like an opinion, right? Because have we asked these so-called racist people, why don't we ask, can we ask why do you not like Caitlin Clark? I haven't heard anybody say, well, because she's white, straight, and doesn't look like a troll. There are plenty of women in the WNBA that are straight, white, and don't look like a troll. There are plenty of black women in the WNBA that are straight and don't look like a troll. Angel Reese is straight and don't look like a troll. Why don't they hate Angel Reese like they hate Caitlin Clark? Because she's black? And I would venture to say that Angel Reese is more beautiful than Caitlin Clark. I've seen Caitlin Clark, not my cup of tea. Besides, it's not about race. It's that these young players like AR and CC getting attention from the world, and of course you're gonna have exactly. It's jealous. It might be jealousy. It might be a competitive spirit. Like, look, oh, well, shit. We've been balling in the WNBA way before Angel Reese was even thought of. Way before Caitlin Clark was even thought of. So maybe it's just that competitive spirit. And this whole thing about the hard foul, which was basically a hip check. Like, come on, man. Like, we need to stop babying these players. We need to stop babying people. You're a grown-ass woman. You're in the WNBA. It's not a full contact sport, but there is going to be contact. Just because somebody is fouled does not mean that they got fouled because they're white or because they're black, right? Like, what are we really talking about here? What are we really talking about? So, now, I'm not going to say Caitlin Clark isn't experiencing racism. I'm not going to say she is. What I'm going to say is, I have questions. Now, people are giving Caitlin Clark credit because of the team flying in a jet. Okay, they were able to fly in a jet to a game or whatever. If this woman, Caitlin Clark, is responsible for having players be on jets flying to their games, is she experiencing racism? Would a woman experiencing racism in the WNBA be able to have accommodations like that being given to her team if she was experiencing racism? I just want to know. Like, so what are we really talking about? I would say, why can't we use so Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese equally, I would say, for different reasons, have brought, not equally, I would say Angel Reese had brought more eyes to the sport, but Caitlin Clark has brought some eyes too. So why can't we just go with that and say, hey man, you know, and it's, to me, it's understandable why a lot of these women that are veterans of the WNBA have been in the sport for a while, why they would feel some type of way. Like, this is like, what are we talking about? The WNBA been like, we, you know, what's up? Why does it take this? So yeah, so some of these women are going to feel some type of way, and some of these women don't like Angel Reese, and some of them don't like Caitlin Clark. Like, well, why does it have to be about race? It doesn't necessarily have to be about race, right? But at the end of the day, if you're talking about an organization as large as the WNBA, as large as the NBA, as large as the NFL, as large as the boxing world, all these sports organizations, guess what? The law of probability dictates that there are going to be racists, right? There are going to be racists somewhere in those organizations. There are going to be a number of them. Law of probability. Organizations like that large are not going to be completely devoid of racists. And we live in a world where there are racists and people do racist things, and some of those racists are in position of power, and they are going to abuse that power against certain races of people that they don't like. That's just the way the world is. That's just the way the world is. And when you have so few elite individuals in control of such a large number, whether they're racist or not, because at the end of the day, all these different things, all these issues, right? That people, I can't think of the word right now. So like, say, a lot of this shit is about power, right? Racism, the R word, sexual abuse, child sexual abuse. You know, a lot of it has to do with power dynamics. That's what it's all about. Power dynamics. When a man R words a woman, it is about exercising power over that woman, at just as much as its sexual desire. But a lot of it is about power. It's just that that man is too lazy and psychotic to try and go out and get with a woman on his own, using his own a game or whatever you want to say. It's about power. It's power dynamics. So if a person, if you, and this is my problem with government, this is my problem with elitism, this is my problem with all that stuff. Because if you look at the concentration of power, look at that concentration of power, and you look at the cultural and racial makeup of that concentration of power, then of course the people that don't look like them are going to suffer more from it. This is why all these power structures and all these Yeah, all these power structures need to be broken up. The more it's broken up, the less of these issues you'll have. LeBron on teammates was bashing him as a rookie. I mean, yeah. I mean, look at that. LeBron came in, and he was hot shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it's gonna be. So were black NBA players being racist against LeBron James, or did they just not like that he was such a dynamic and dynamic player that came in as a rookie? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's what you should chalk it up to. Like, look, unless you can prove the intent of the hatred, unless you can prove why they hate that person, or why the reason they hate that person or don't like that person because they're white or black, let's look at the most simple solution at first. Now, again, like I was saying about power structure. Power structures, concentrations of power, they are a problem, right? Look at the caste system in India. Look at the communist system in China. Look at all over the world, right? Where you have, even in the democracies, right? Even in democracies, you have these problems. The problem is the power structure, right? If none of the hate that Caitlin Clark is experiencing is stopping Caitlin Clark from being the best WNBA player she can be. None of that is stopping Angel Reese from being the best NBA player she can be, WNBA player she can be. Sometimes you just got to deal the goddamn thug thistle and keep it rocking. Yeah, I just find it interesting. Yep, LeBron, Westbrook, Cam Newton. I mean, it is what it is. Not everybody's gonna like you all the time. Not everybody's gonna appreciate what you bring to the organization you're a part of. Just like me where I work. Where I work now, I have advanced quite quickly. And I have been able to maneuver in the company a little differently than most other people. But that's because when I put my mind to something, and when I get to a place, I'm not just satisfied with just doing just the right amount of shit to get by. I like to bring value to whatever organization I'm a part of, right? I like to bring value. And the best way for me to bring value is bring new, fresh ideas, to the organization. And if the organization's goal is to make money and to do it safely and to do it efficiently and to do it in less time and all the other stuff, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I have done, right? I came through and I changed. I brought something different, right? Like to the quality control of the company. Like I'm the quality control, quality assessment manager, right, for the job site. And when they put me in that position, because I came as a superintendent, when I came in as a superintendent, where I was in charge of a crew out in the field. I was a field superintendent. When I got to the second job site for the company, the guy wanted me to do QA/QC. And there are certain things that he wanted done, right? Certain things that he wanted quality controlled. Well, I came up with a system that that helped make them a shitload of money, millions of dollars on that job. You know what I'm saying? And it got me. I got a bonus for it. Like it was that much money that I got a bonus. I got quite a hefty bonus, and Then after that, I said, you know what I think would help with quality control is I want to learn how to 3D model a job so I can, because there were issues with the 3D modeling on the job that I was made QAQC for. So they had a lot of issues with the 3D modeling department of the company, right? There were a lot of gaps. There were a lot of things that weren't understood. There were a lot of resistance from the field guys and the guys and the nerds and the 3D modeling. They weren't necessarily communicating well together. There's a lot of bullshit, push and pull back and forth. And I was like, man, let me go learn this shit. As a field guy, let me go learn how to do this 3D modeling shit so I can better understand and fill the gaps. So that's what I did. But the 3D modeling guys, they don't they don't make as much money as I make. Right? So, oh shit, let me not do that. The 3D modeling guys, they don't make as much money as I make, right? And I had been in the department for a while, and I had this young lady letting me know certain things, right? Like a lot of certain people don't necessarily like that I'm the highest paid 3D modeler in the company. And I'm like, well, I'm not a full-time 3D modeling guy, but the bottom line is there are a lot of people that are not so happy with the way I'm able to maneuver in the company. And I don't think it's because they're racist toward me and because I'm black. No, I think it's because they don't understand how I was able to get a bonus like that, how I was able to maneuver, how I'm able to do this, that, and the third, and they think I got it made because I'm a 3D modeling guy. And no. This is why. Sometimes when you become a part of an organization and you excel and you bring something fresh and new to the organization, people are not going to like it. Why are we? Come on, man. This sheriff is getting on my fucking. This sheriff, man. I can't go around him because I don't feel like getting pulled over. And this dude is just, come on, man. Come on, sheriff. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Help me out here. Anyway, sometimes when you excel at something and you go to an organization, you excel a little bit beyond others, they don't like it. They don't like it. And so I'm at the point now where I'm like, well, I didn't ask. Because see, what happened was I learned the 3D modeling. It only took me a few months to become really good at it. Now there's a lot of shit that I don't know about 3D modeling, right? Like I don't know how to, there's certain things I don't know, right? There's a lot involved with it. But because I have so much field experience, I know what works in the field. So when I do it in the 3D model, and if I'm good enough at 3D modeling, and I also understand how shit works in the field, I do pretty damn good with 3D modeling with very little help. With very little help from the manager. The manager, he's a straight 3D modeling guy. He's not a field guy at all. And the manager of the whole prefab / BIM team, he's not a field guy, but he's great at 3D modeling. But there's certain shit that he don't understand field wise. So when I come through, it just, I can do a lot with this 3D modeling shit and not need a lot of help because I understand what works in the field, what doesn't. Like I don't have to do much and seek for much help. But anyway, I was supposed to learn the shit, go to the next job, and get back on QAQC. But now, the head of the 3D modeling team is trying to keep me working under that department. And I'm like, no, that's not how this is going. I was supposed to learn this to help bridge the gap between the 3D modeling team and the field team, right? To ensure that, you know, what's being passed back and forth is smoother and more well understood, right? Because now I understand 3D modeling and I understand the field. So that's what I was supposed to do. But because they could not get a 3D modeling guy full-time to come to the job that I'm at, I ended up doing it. But, you know, now that they consider me a full-time 3D model guy, they have an issue with me because I make the most money. I might even make more than the 3D modeling guy, that the manager of the whole department. And I'm like, that ain't my fault. I wasn't supposed to be doing this full time. I was supposed to learn the 3D modeling so I can better understand how to help the guys in the field deal with it and use it, and vice versa. And I was supposed to be on QAQC. That's not, I wasn't supposed to be doing this full time. That ain't on me. But see, it doesn't matter because they don't understand how I'm able to make that much money and just do 3D modeling. Whatever, man. Y'all get what I'm saying. Jimmy Darkfest. Finally, something other than Ryan. Well, I have hundreds of videos on my channel that have nothing to do with Ryan Garcia. Like I've been making videos since what? I want to say 2019, 2018. You know, this is not even a boxing channel, right? But I wanted to cover that because I feel like it's very important. Just everything surrounding that whole situation in regards to propaganda, lying, you know, the bullshit that people are feeding you, you know, and I like boxing. I enjoy boxing. So yeah, I want to talk about it because I feel like it's very, very important to talk about. But this isn't a boxing channel, so, you know. But if I find something interesting in boxing that I can relate to the real world and relate to everything else, then I'm going to use it. I'm going to use that information, just like I'm using this Caitlin Clark thing. The whole Caitlin Clark situation, all that type of shit. Because it's important to understand that none of these things are separate anymore because of social media. The politics of boxing, the politics of government, and all that, the politics of other sports, they all intersect now. All these things blend together now because so many casuals of different things are able to go and they are able to absorb information. They're able to get any information they want. It's easy. It's at their fingertips. But a lot of the time, casuals will get information from certain YouTube channels that focus on these different things, and these YouTube channels can put out misinformation deliberately for a certain purpose. So this is what I'm combating when I do this. I'm combating the misinformation, disinformation, just like I did with Modelo 19, right? When Modelo 19 got cracking, I was all over that. Because guess what? That was the most important thing of the time. All the propaganda about face flags, which were masked, the Modelo 19 test, I can't even say the C word no more. I still can't say the C word. I've had so many videos taken down because of my coverage of Modelo 19 that it's ridiculous. I was combating all the bullshit they were putting out. And who am I? Am I a scientist? Am I a doctor? No, I'm not. But I do have common sense, and I do know how to read, and I do know how to do research. I do know how to fact check. And what happened with Modelo 19 is the same shit that's happening with this Ryan Garcia shit. And that's why, there's so many parallels, right? So many parallels, because when Modelo 19 got cracking, you know, a lot of these different people would get this information, and all these pro, I can't even say the V word, where you get the jab. All these pro jab people, all these pro face flag people, all these pro stay in the house people, all these pro don't go outside, stay six feet apart, you know what I'm saying, don't enjoy the sun, stay your ass in the house. All these people, will put out this information and spread this fear, create this fear campaign that was very damaging to the country, very damaging to the world. Look at the self-deletion rates among young people since the Modelo 19 thing started. The Modelo 19 thing starts, they tell you to stay in the house. They tell you to spray your hands. They tell you to over sanitize everything. They tell you, oh, don't talk to your grandma. You're gonna kill your grandma. Don't, all this bullshit that they're telling you. Based on what information? Oh, it's a novel CV. It's a novel CV. We don't know much about it, but what we do know is, oh, it travels six feet and then it just drops. Or if you wear a face flag, well, you wear the face flag to protect other people. Since when did that happen? Right? Common sense. Since when does wearing a face flag protect other people from what you breathe out? This is what they told you. Oh, the face flag is a one-way. The mask, oh, it's a one-way barrier, right? It'll stop things from getting out, but not from coming. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're wearing a face flag to protect other people and not yourself, right? How does that work? So if two people are wearing a face flag, it just didn't make sense, right? They tell you, oh, well, if you wear everybody has to wear a face flag, even if you're not sick, because you can still get it if somebody who's sick is wearing a face flag. Is not going to stop the particles from getting out, right? So if I'm sick, because typically that's what happens, right? If you're sick, you wear a face flag if you go out in public, so that you don't spread your fucking germs around, right? You don't spread your airborne germs around. This fucking goddamn sheriff, bro. Like, oh, come on, man. Am I in this fucking jurisdiction? Like, come on, bro. Y'all look at this, man. This guy, y'all can't see him. Never mind. This guy is killing me. I want to go around his ass so badly. And I'm wondering when he'll get off this fucking highway. I mean, come on, bro. Anyway. So this is what they told y'all. If you wear a face flag and you're sick, it's not going to stop the particles from coming out. So people who aren't sick and aren't experiencing symptoms, they should wear a face flag. Because even if the sick person is wearing a face flag, they can still get the germs. But they told you to wear a face flag to protect other people from getting sick. What? So now it's all about, oh, well, the face flag is only a one-way barrier. So it only stops shit from coming in. Right? That's what they told you. But then they told you, oh, well, you can wear a cotton sheet or a cotton piece. You can, oh, the face flag, it doesn't have to be an N95. It doesn't have to be anything of any level of real protection. No, it can be a t-shirt sleeve that you just pull over your head. Right? Like this motherfucking shit. This was supposed to stop this thing, right? This is fucking nylon. They told y'all that this will stop the Modelo 19 from spreading. They told y'all it's okay to wear this. This shit right here, man. And guess what? You motherfuckers wore it anyway. It didn't make any sense, right? Oh, it doesn't matter what the material's made of. It doesn't matter at all. It went from N95 to any fucking piece of material you want to put in your fucking face. And this is what they told us. And this is what people believed. How is this going to stop any microscopic particle from getting out and getting on other people? How is this going to stop it? Because I tell you what, when I was working and I would go in a man lift on the construction site and people were wearing this, if they had bad fucking breath, guess what? I smelled a bad fucking breath through this fucking face flag. I smelled their bad breath. And if I can smell their bad breath, guess what? This shit ain't gonna stop no fucking virus particle from coming through and getting, you know what I'm saying? If I can smell it, that means that the shit that the bad breath, the gases from the bacteria in their fucking mouth or in their gut that's coming out through their mouth I am ingesting that through my nose. If you can smell it, guess what? You just ingested the particles through your nose. This is the reality. So if a virus is so many millions of times smaller than the shit that you smell from people's breath, you really think this shit is gonna stop this shit from getting in your body? Come on, man. This is what we were told. We were told, yeah, wear this shit. Why? Why would they tell us to wear that if they know damn well they ain't gonna stop shit? Because they knew that people were going to obey. They knew that people were going to. It's the fear. I have to wear something on my face. Even those goddamn dust masks, right? Those dust masks that you get at Home Depot, that you wear when you're painting, that will stop some of the paint particles from getting getting in your mouth and getting in your nose. Yeah, it'll stop some of that. But even that, right? That's not going to stop a virus from coming through. The N95 mask was created for tuberculosis, right? It was made to stop tuberculosis from getting out, right? That's what it was designed for. Tuberculosis is a bacteria. Bacteria is larger than viruses. And N95 is not going to do shit against no goddamn virus. What are we talking about? It's not even going to stop asbestos fibers from getting in. And asbestos than viruses. How do I know this? Because I had to work in areas where there was asbestos. So in order to work in those areas, you had to wear a certain type of protective mask. A protective mask that has a lot more filtration power. It's a HEPA than a goddamn N95. That'll stop asbestos. And it may stop some viruses. But you're talking about a half face or a full face protective mask with filter canisters on it that are much more absorbent and powerful. You're talking about carbon filters and all that type of shit, right? This is the type of shit that you would need to stop an asbestos fiber from getting your goddamn lungs, from you breathing in asbestos. You have to get fitted for that. You can't have any type of hair when you wear it, because it has to have a good seal on your face and around your nose and your mouth. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about stopping asbestos, which is larger than bacteria. All right? Not larger than bacteria, larger than viruses. Viruses are smaller than asbestos fibers, and you need that level of protection to stop asbestos fibers. And you have to get fitted for it. You have to be clean shaven to have a good seal. Not all over your face. You can have like a little goatee, but you have, wherever the mask seals to your face, you have to be clean shaven. You got to shave every fucking day. So if you really want to protect yourself against something as small as an asbestos fiber or smaller, perhaps, you would have to have a good seal. You'd have to cover your nose and your mouth, and you have to have a good seal. So you'd have to be clean shaven. You'd have to wear those canisters, right? And you have to go through, and even you couldn't even work. Oh my God, this motherfucker, man! Why are you in this lane? I hate this shit, bro. Like, come on, man. Your ass is not supposed to be in this fucking lane, man. All these goddamn trucks, bro. Anyway, if you wanted to protect yourself from this virus, which is smaller than an asbestos fiber, you'd have to have something that has enough filtration to stop an asbestos fiber or smaller. So you would have to be clean shaven. You have to have a good seal around your, all that shit, right? You would have to, because of the filtration shit is so dense, that you'll have a much harder time breathing in that mask. So guess what? You have to go and get a fitness test in order to wear it. So if you wanted to work in asbestos, you got to pay more money, right? If you wanted to go work on a site where they are abating asbestos and you have to work around that, right? Because you're not, as an electrician, I wasn't doing the abatement, but I had to work in areas where they were doing abatement, and I had to go into the ceiling and replace something or do something like that, right? So you would have to wear that, but you would have to get a fit test and a fitness test. They would have to test your lung capacity to make sure that you can handle breathing through that face, through that protective mask. Because you're talking about filtration so powerful that barely any oxygen is getting through that goddamn filter. So in order to really protect yourself from a virus that might be floating around, that are flying out of people's mouths, you would have to wear something more powerful than that. Because guess what? You got the eyes. So you wouldn't just be able to wear a full half-face mask. You'd have to wear a full-face mask so that shit can get in your eyes. You're talking about something, a system that you would have to like, and if you really wanted to protect yourself against the virus 100%, you'd have to wear a fucking suit or something with, because if you work around, especially, you got to wear, because the fibers can get in your clothes. The fibers can get in your clothes, and then when you're taking clothes off, it fly around and get in you. So you'd have to wear a full suit. And if you really wanted to stop a virus, you have to wear a full suit with a full face mask and an oxygen tank. You're talking about a virus, this so-called deadly virus that's flying around that only goes 6 meters airborne or whatever the fuck, or 6 feet. And this is what they're telling y'all. They're telling y'all that this is going to help protect you from catching Modelo 19. They're telling you, right, that a person with Modelo 19 that's on a motorcycle gets in a motorcycle crash and gets decapitated, just so happens to have Modelo 19. They're telling you that that person died from Modelo 19. This is what they're telling people. They're telling you that if you die with Modelo 19, even if you didn't die directly from Modelo 19, they're going to attribute that death to Modelo 19. This is what they're telling you, and people are what? They're eating it alive. They're not thinking. And when you have certain social media personalities that are help spreading this bullshit, it's a problem. I feel compelled to combat it. Just like I felt compelled to combat all this Ryan Garcia bullshit. All the bullshit surrounding Ryan Garcia cheating by using performance enhancing drugs. Because no one fact checks. They just take what their favorite personality says and they run with it. They don't do any due diligence. They don't fact check. They don't do any research on their own. People, it's important that it doesn't matter who tells you what. If it's something as important as whether or not somebody cheated in a boxing match, whether or not this can protect you from a virus, it is incumbent upon you to make sure that what you're being told holds water. If they're telling you that this protects you from a virus, and you have lived longer than 12 or 13 years, and you have some understanding of the world, and you've been to a hospital, and you've seen where there were not oil spills, but these trains, that crashed or derailed, and it had some chemicals on there, and you see what the people that are doing the cleanup are wearing to protect themselves from these chemicals. And we know that these chemicals, the particles from these chemicals are larger than a virus, and they're wearing a full goddamn containment suit. And you understand, hey, these people that are doing this chemical spill cleanup, they're wearing a full containment suit. But these chemical particles are smaller than a virus. But they're telling us that all you had to do is a little bit of research, take you 5 or 10 minutes. Hey, how small is a goddamn virus particle? How small is a virus? How small is a fucking virus? How small is bacteria? How small is a particle from ammonia or methylamine or whatever the fuck you want, whatever chemical you want to mention? What do they wear when they're abating asbestos? What do they wear when they're doing the chemical cleanup? What are they wearing? And what are they telling us that we should wear? And here's another thing in regards to that. Like, when this things first started popping off in China, what did you see? You saw all kind of people falling out in the middle of the goddamn street. People they're walking, they stop walking, and they just fall over face first onto the ground. All over the place in China, right? But when it reaches the United States, how come we didn't see that happen all over? Come on, man. They told us, oh, well, it reached the U.S. We had our first goddamn case. Where are the people falling out all over the place? Come on, man. So when all this shit is being spread all over the place, right? And they're saying all this sensational shit. Why is it so hard for us to just to fact check? And why do we feel the need to go to anybody that is opposing the propaganda? Why do we feel the need to go over there and attack them? And personally, and why do we feel the need to just regurgitate nonsense just because we heard it from somebody we liked? I'll never understand it, but it is what it is. That's the world we're living in. That's the world we're living in. Anyway, I'm done for now, y'all. Y'all be easy, man. Much love. Like, share, subscribe, and we're gonna keep marching forward toward freedom. Peace.